What's up, guys? Matt Gajewski here, and I'm with ExpandTheBoxscore to give you a rundown of ExpandTheBoxscore's newest college football product. This product will literally revolutionize the way we look at college football, helping with everything from DFS to gambling to just general knowledge for a more educated everyday fan. It's a product I began using last winter, and it helped me with everything from DFS to gambling, all those mentioned above. It's awesome, so let's get into this product. First, you're going to see a variety of tabs at the top that we are going to navigate throughout. There is a wide receiver, running back, tight end tab, quarterback profile. We are going to start with the wide receiver, running back, tight end profile. This is where you're going to find everything on your skill position players. In the top left, you'll see there are 3 drop-down menus, a team, player, and season. This just lets you navigate players on all different teams. You can go from seasons back to 2016 to the present. It's going to let you compare them side to side. For this example, we're going to look at Keyshawn Vaughn from Vanderbilt. In the top right, moving over a little bit, we can see the game stats for Keyshawn Vaughn. This says 2018. Certain players will go back a little bit further, and it's going to give you everything from targets to rushing yards. There's fumbles, everything like that. A little bit lower, we get to see some of the cool features that are unique to ExpandTheBoxscore. For example, there's touches by yardage. This is a cool feature that basically takes a look at each reception and each carry and looks at how many yards it accumulated. This allows us to see the number of explosive plays a player generated. Vaughn, for example, generated 13 plays of 21 plus yards. To the right of that, we can see touches broken down by quarter right here in this little chart. And to the right of that, touches by field position. Just another cool way to look at where players' usage came. Did they see most of their rushing production in the red zone? And it lays it out against standard production as well in the other areas of the field. Looking down at the bottom of this page, a couple more charts. There is the Dominator chart. This lets us compare a player to the efficiency of his teammates. So you can see what percentage of the yardage and touchdowns a player scored. To the right of that, we have the down and distance performance. Where did they see most of their targets? Was it on first down, first and long, first and goal? We can look at all of that stuff here. So that allows us to see how a player performed in a variety of game situations. If you're interested in just the red zone, that is all the way on the bottom right here. How many targets did they see in the red zone? Rushes, receiving touchdowns, everything like that can be found here. As for the quarterback profile, this is very similar, just a little bit different based on the statistics. And in this example, we'll look at Tua Tagovailoa. Immediately on the left, we get to see Tua's total statistics. And here's an example, it goes back to 2017. With the 2 charts just below, we can look at percentage of receiving yards and percentage of target distribution. So who had all of Tua's receiving yards, who had the most targets. That is all in these little charts here. To the right, we have the down and distance performance. Where did most of Tua's throws come? Were they near the goal line? Were they in the red zone? Was he throwing mostly on first down, or did Alabama use him primarily on third down? We can look at all of that in this chart. Moving slightly down, we have, I think, one of the most important charts on the entire website, the target distribution by week. This allows us to look at each individual pass catcher on a weekly basis and compare them to each other so we can find trends here. Did a player emerge maybe later in the year? And we can see those targets based on the heat map. Below that, we're going to see the game logs for quarterbacks. Brings us all the way back to 2017. We can see how Tua did in each of these individual games. Overall, this is another information-dense tab, but it's highly useful for a curious college football mind. Moving over, our rushing and receiving leaderboard tab. This page brings us to a lot of sortable data, and you can sort based on almost every rushing, receiving stat imaginable. There are also a lot of things you can filter by. We can filter here by rush attempts, targets overall, number of games played. This allows us to look at some efficiency metrics like targets per game, and how many target, a minimum of 50 targets. Who had the most yards per target of players that received 50 targets. From there, you can filter further, look at individual seasons, look at classes of players, who had the most targets among freshmen, position, which running back had the most targets. You could look at individual weeks to see maybe a certain player was hurt, who actually led the team in targets that week. And then, of course, we can filter by individual teams. Within the chart, you are going to see a bunch of drop-down charts that we can filter by here. Who had the most targets in all of football last year? Easy, it was Preston Williams. He had 166 targets. If you hover over the player's stats, it's going to give you the individual game logs, so you don't have to necessarily navigate back and forth between players in different pages and different tabs on the site. It's very useful for DFS when you're trying to compare players side by side. Over at the QB leaderboard, it's very, very similar. Only thing that's different here, we're filtering by touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, things like that. Won't spend a lot of time here because we've seen most of it. But again, hovering over the players, you can find their individual game logs. And you can also filter by classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, everything like that. The Dominator leaderboard, our fifth tab. Well, first of all, what is Dominator? Dominator is the percentage of receiving yards and touchdowns a player has accounted for on his own team. This particular page is specific to pass catchers. Along with age, Dominator has proven predictive of future success in both college and the NFL. This page is going to allow us to filter by Dominator rating and any of the associated metrics like targets, catches, receiving yards. In particular, this metric illuminates, certain under-the-radar players that maybe played in a run-first offense. One example off the top of my head is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, now of the Green Bay Packers. So this tool is particularly useful for those of you examining the NFL draft, also useful for maybe under-the-radar and cheap plays in DFS. As for our final two tabs, looking at team defense, this page shows where particular defenses allowed production. The page also utilizes this handy heat map so you can kind of color code it and see visually where teams compared to each other. It is everything from number of plays a team was on the field for. We can see Houston leading that with 81.3, receiving yardage allowed per game, and that goes all the way down to third down conversion rate for the opponent's offense. A lot of useful data here. Did the team allow more rushing yards or did they allow more pass yards? Very easy to use, something that is going to revolutionize the way we look at college football. And last here we have Playcalling tendencies. A lot of information on this page. It's mostly broken down based on down and distance, which is super useful looking at how a team might call plays in a certain game script. We see run to pass ratio. It also shows things like yards per attempt, yards per carry. How do all those differ on different down and distances? We can find that all in this chart, looking at all the different teams throughout college football. Again, these charts will be evolving a little bit as we go through college football season, but a lot of data here just to begin. Overall, this is going to be a revolutionary tool for college football fans. I will note that similar tools will be available for NFL, MLB, college basketball, and much more. If you have questions on any of this data, anything I showed you here in this video, you can DM the ExpandTheBoxscore account on Twitter. That's at XTBoxscore, or myself at Matt_Gajewski. You can also email info@expandtheboxscore.com. They can answer any of your questions on how to use this, lay out any of these tabs here, any of the drop-down features.
ExpandTheBoxscore.com. We got stats!